Okay, looks like I'm live. I made an announcement on the Discord. Good to go. Hey everyone. Long time no see. It's been a bit since I've done a Wednesday live stream, so good to be back. Past two Wednesdays were a little bit messed up, but I'm happy to be here now. Let me know how everything, those who are popping in, let me know how everything sounds. You can hear me all right. I think I was having a little bit of issues with my microphone the other day, sounding kind of low. So if you can't hear me very well, let me know. Plan today is I'm going to work on the female Ouranosaurus skin. We did some concepts for that a while ago, but I never proceeded with any of them. I got some review done by Islander, and he let me know which skin variations to try out and modify. So I'm going to be doing that in the first part of this stream. So yeah, I'm just going to get started. I'm picking through all of this, all these layers and stuff, to trying to get to where the concepts were before, because unfortunately I didn't save the file out. I just grabbed the screenshots, but it shouldn't be too hard to reconstruct what was going on there. Let's see what we got. And later on, depending on how fast I get through this, later on we might start some work on, I was about to say Purosaurus, but the Eocarcharia. I got some new skin concepts that came down from the concept artists working on the skins. So we'll probably get started on that if I have time. I don't anticipate this skin taking too long to work on, so I'm just kind of picking through this right now. I'm gonna turn these layers on and off to figure out where I am, get my footing. This is kind of what happens when I take a while to get back to a model. It's like I have a bit of amnesia, and I gotta figure out where I was. So I think we're going to do something like this, but this dark color here is going to be much lighter brown. Check this. I'm just going to take the value, make it a little lighter here. And then this is kind of the effect that we were talking about. Islander like this, but not so isolated, like more of a gradient instead of just individual spots. So that's what I'm going to try to do here on this layer here. We're just gonna add a new paint layer and like we'll just modify this. I need to get to my brushes. I think this will look pretty good. So I do want to have maybe a little bit of breakup near the end of the fade here, but it'll be a little bit more subtle, I think. It won't be so spotty. Turn off this shading so I can see the base color. Any place that's just looks kind of strange to have that color on, I'm just going to erase it. Then let's see. I'm trying to figure out what to do with the neck here, because I don't want it to call like too much attention. Should be like a nice subtle color variation, I think. I think that would look the best. Turn off this cavity detection. Actually, that make it put it back on, because I think it looks better that way while I'm painting. This part right here is probably a little bit too strong. It's interesting. It's kind of like an inversion of what the male has here in this area. I think that's really cool to kind of play up. Not too much, because we don't want this to feel like super flashy. I think the male should be the flashy one. But just enough to add some interest here. I'm trying to build this up pretty slowly now. We can even do stuff like maybe I don't want to add too many layers is the thing, but we can do stuff like we can dull this back and then duplicate this. And then we can take this back to full strength. And then be even more like add like an additional layer of emphasis. So like I want to take majority of this off. And then just keep that lighter color here, and then you can probably like disperse it in here just a little bit more, you know, like kind of just flecks of that brighter light brown. I think probably look good. Hi Scavenger, how's it going? I love Ouranosaurus. Cool, I'm glad. Ouranosaurus is definitely really interesting dino. This is the first time I had sculpted an Ourano. So it's really cool to learn about it. There's a lot of actually what I found most surprising about Ouranosaurus is that there's actually not as much information about it as I thought there would be. For some reason, I thought it was more well known, like as far as material goes. More well studied, I suppose. But yeah, it was a little bit more of a challenge to sculpt than I thought it was going to be. It was interesting learning about this sail here, or if you would call it like it's the sail structure and how that could be reconstructed. The way I went about it was more like a more well muscled sail than just like a thin, more like a Spinosaurus sail, I suppose. But it was interesting learning about that, and also the way they stand is interesting, because I had always thought that Ouranosaurus was like, I guess a lot of other hadrosaurs. I guess I thought it was more like a quadruped and then bipedal when it was running, or you know, whenever it decided to be bipedal, I suppose. But it looks like people are leaning towards more bipedal majority of the time. So that was also surprising. Oh, this guy's your favorite? That's really cool. Concavenator is really cool as well. I don't know if I have a favorite hadrosaur. I would have to think about that. What would be my favorite hadrosaur? Probably something with I really like the crests, the hadrosaurs with the more elaborate crests. So maybe like Allura Titan is really cool. I think Allura Titan might be one of my favorites. Yeah, I think that would probably be my favorite. I did do an Allura Titan sculpt a long time ago. Never got to finish it. No reason really, just I'm very bad at finishing personal projects. I need to become more disciplined at that. But I think that would be my favorite hadrosaur. Maybe I could be a little bit more aggressive with the spots. Just in a few select places. So I think they're good, but they're just too fuzzy. Let's see what it looks like on here. Yeah, they're a little bit fuzzy, which I don't like. I want to emphasize just a little bit. Will Concavenator be in the game? I don't know. I am not sure. I would not put up an argument against it if it was. That would be really cool. So I'm just trying to pick a few little spots just to emphasize, just to break up this haziness that I'm seeing. I don't want it all to feel super hazy and like blurry. I want to make some spots look pretty clear and defined. I've done actually a lot of work with Concavenator. None that I can show, but maybe one day I'll just do my own. That way I can actually share it in my portfolio. Yeah, lots of projects that I've worked on. Can't really share. Probably better that way, to be honest. I think I could probably do a much better Concavenator now than when I worked on it last. So. Let those old models just stay there. Stay on the shelf. Let's see what it's looking like here. I need to see the base color. Take the cavity off so I can actually see what I'm doing. It's very subtle. settle. Let me see. Dial that background layer down. And I think you can really tell that I'm like a super introvert because I talk for like, how long have we been streaming right now? I talk for like 20 minutes and my voice is already like going hoarse. So you can tell I don't continually talk about stuff for long periods of time. I used to, when I went to conventions, it would be so bad. Because not only was I talking a lot, but I would have to talk loud to get over the sound of everyone else. And man, that I wasn't able to keep that up for very long at all. It's a good thing I have a mic here. Thanks, Scavenger. I appreciate it. I think it's coming along. After this little bit of like elaboration on the texture, I think we might be able to jump over to the Eo Carcaria. Because I want to send this over to Islander to double check that this is working. I could also do the alternate skin for the Ourano. That would be interesting as well. That's actually the skin that I designed for the Ourano in the beginning. So it might be cool to try to do that. But maybe for the sake of diversity, we will work on the Eo Carcaria for a bit. Oh, sound designer. Okay, cool. Sound design is a pretty interesting field of work, I think. I don't know a ton about it, but I always thought it would be cool to like come up with the different vocalizations and stuff for the dinosaurs, and how people go about doing that is interesting to learn about. Like there's some crazy stuff that people have used to make like monster sounds, you know, for movies and stuff like that. Stuff that you wouldn't expect. Get rid of these little spots on the arm. I don't know why that's appearing right there. It's masked out anyway, but it's covered up on by the other skin colors, but I'll make sure it's not there now. Since I can see it, get rid of it. Working on a game at the moment. Make any sounds for some creatures. Oh, nice. What kind of creatures are they? Are they dinos or are they some other sort of monster guys? Electric guitar and horse. That sounds really cool. Aliens, nice. Okay. That's a pretty funny death by cussing Derp Queen. Hi, how are you? How's it going? Now I'm like trying to figure out what to call you for short. Either I call you Death or I call you Queen. I don't know if I can say the whole thing every time. I think either way you probably win. Those are pretty good names. Rhino and Violin. That would be really cool to hear. So is this game like just a personal project, or is this something that, you know, like it's like something you're doing for something that's about to be launched soon, or what's going on? Get some of this like speckly brushes in here. These Kyle ones are pretty nice, but I might need something. One of these guys would probably work. This one. Need just a little bit of spatter. Oh, so you're developing it in high school. Okay. Well, that's really cool. I mean, when I was in high school, I couldn't say that I was working on a game. So I feel like you're pretty ahead of the curve. Okay. I wonder what this will look like if I maybe added some kind of grungy noise on top of it. Just something to break things up even more. Make it a multiply layer. Play around with the tiling. Maybe something a little bit more gradual. Probably clouds would be good. Let me see where are the clouds. I could just search it, but I'm being lazy. There they are. Some in this range. Something like that, and then set it to multiply. I want it to be pretty subtle. What happens if I put this on top here? I don't know. Let's check it out and see how it looks. Maybe a little too strong. We'll reduce that. Well, we'll leave that as is. So this light brown sort of texture we'll leave it like that. There's one area here that I need to adjust though, because it's looking too soft, this area. So that there, what's this? Quick drink of water there. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate this layer. And then take this off. We'll add a fill. I probably had the fill already added, but for curvature. Do we have the curvature? Benjamin. Can't wait for the game. Cool. Thank you. It's gonna be really, really interesting to see people playing the game. You know, running around as a model that I've worked on or a texture that I've worked on. It's gonna be a really cool feeling. I might get some buddies together and play as well. That'll be interesting. Maybe I won't tell them that I worked on the game, and I'll just let them like give their opinion and see how see how it is. Blizzard, hey, how's it going? Wonder if medium/large tier dinos is going to be focus to begin with, or if we'll see small dinos soon. We've done a few small dinos. Like I worked on the Dryosaurus and the Coelophysis. Are you talking about like playable small dinos? I think the Dryo and the Coelophysis are AI. Yeah, Blizzard, their NPC stuff. So yeah, I have no idea what the small playable dinos are gonna be. So everything I'm slated to work on, well, everything I have worked on is pretty big. So that gives you an indication. Just getting a little quick detail in there. that like the individual scales being highlighted there, I think adds a little bit more refinement. For not too much time, you know. I could go in there and do like every single detail by hand, but it wouldn't look that much different, and it would take forever. So we'll work smarter, not harder in that case. Take a look at that mask and see what it's actually doing. Okay. I'll probably do a little bit of hand painting, just a tiny bit. Just to be a little bit more specific about certain things. Yeah, Glizzer, did you have any dinos that you thought would be fun to be in that small dinosaur class? check this out. How is it looking? Okay, so there's some spots that I missed down here. Those. Okay, I think I've cleaned that up. There's just some like overspill from the additional layer that I just added. It can kind of look a little bit messy. I mean, there would be some nitpicks that I would have. Just kind of like, I'm just kind of self-critiquing right now. Let's see if we can add paint. I wish I could get a little bit more variety in that belly color. See that like pale tan color? Just get a little bit of variation in the hue in there. But I don't know if that's actually possible with the way that we have our skin system set up for like the customization. So I don't know if that'll cause problems or not. So I'd probably just, to err on the side of caution, I would probably not mess around with it, I suppose. These two are the same color, so I need to put those in that folder. And then these are the same color, so those also need. I need to be better about labeling this stuff because I'm probably going to drive myself nuts. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Two. I see what I did there. That's gonna make things complicated. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 colors. 2 of these aren't really being used right now though, because they are the male colors. And we also had this blue, which which is not being used either. This used to be blue too. So those aren't being used. Okay. Let's see what this looks like all together. Turn the okay. I think that's good enough to at least get some, you know, for like an update, to pass on to Islander to see if he likes it or not. Yeah. So we'll save that. We'll save that there. Go ahead and save. And yeah, let's move over to the Eocarcharia. We'll start the basics of a new skin for this one. I have the concept off screen. Actually, I need to copy and paste that over here. There we go. Okay. It's been a while since I've opened this file, so I need to make sure that I'm working on this the correct file and saving things out properly. So we need you guys get to see my crazy file structure. This would be the snow. This is going to be the snow pattern. We'll just call that snow. Save that there. Okay, and now we can get started. So I'm gonna reuse these layers because they're structured in a certain way where it automatically builds some masks for me. But I'm just gonna swap out some of the colors. So we'll start with this one. It's gonna be pretty pale. This one is going to be, looks like some sort of tan. And it's almost in the same placement, but we will need to modify this one. Let's go back to brushes. actually going to let this be, it's going to cover the whole face. Majority of the face. We'll come back and take care of the edges and stuff later, but I just want to, we're just going to block this in really as quickly as we can. I don't want to be like reckless about it, but you know, I just want to get it in the ballpark as soon as we can get it there. And then we can refine it all we want later. Something quick like this. Let's see what else is going on back here. We don't have stripes in this shade, in this value. So I'm going to get rid of those. We'll leave it kind of tattered here. This is almost the same. Just a little bit more of the calf showing here. Something like that. Come up over here. This is the third tier. This is... Where is this appearing? I have two values that are almost, they're very, very close to being the same color. That's not what I want. This is what I want. Okay. I think we'll start with this. Actually, I'll leave it there. How do I want to deal with this? Majority of it is not is pretty much like there's not a lot of this color, I'll just say that. Which I guess is good, but it doesn't make it hard to identify. It's kind of painted on the concept that I'm looking at. It's kind of painted on in washes. So there's lots of like subtle color transitions that are happening all kind of over there. And they're kind of gradual, and then they'll be like very apparent. So it's a bit hard to process. Try to do my best. With this type of stuff, it's not I think a lot of people would, especially like early on, I think I I'm including myself in this comment. I think early on I would be very stressed out about a skin like this because I would, of course, I'd wanna try and get it as close to the concept as possible. So I'd start to stress out about, oh, is this little spot in the right place? Is that little stripe in the exact right place? The thing about it is there's like thousands of little spots in these types of skin colorations and patterns. So there's just, if you're trying to do things like, if you're trying to like do an exact one-to-one copy of the concept, I think you're going to drive yourself crazy. So the way, I want to get the general idea of the concept across. Like at a glance, it should look like the same concept, but the subtleties of like each individual spot and where they are actually placed and stuff like that, they're not going to be one-to-one. I think it would be, not to say it's impossible for somebody to do that, but you would spend a lot of time. Like, I don't know, to the point where I don't know if that's efficient, I think this color will look, it'll make more sense once I get the darker color on top, because it kind of follows the pattern, like kind of frames that pattern on the outside. So I think that'll make much more sense. can kind of see the pattern that's gonna pop up here soon. You'll really see it once I get the darkest color on. Okay. So that's... I mean, honestly, I'm wondering if they... I think they might be using 3 primary colors, or 4 actually, and then one of them is like just added in there for some variation. I'd have to confirm because it's very hard to see the difference between what's happening in some of these spots. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go to the darkest color because that provides a lot of the structure, and it gives a lot of the... It's the primary pattern. Like it's very distinct. So get in there and let's see. This is the dorsal spines. So leave that alone. This is from the old skin. So I can take that off. Take out this one. This gets turned off, and we'll just add a paint. So starting with the face, got all those spots in there. Going to be probably playing around with the placement of those a lot. And we're just gonna start diving into this pattern here. We have these series of spots that are going down the neck. They're kind of, so they start as stripes here at the back of the neck, and then they kind of disintegrate into spots as they go down. And then here, they start to kind of merge into this sort of webbing pattern. And there's like negative space that make these holes in the pattern. There's about 3 of these spots here on the neck. Okay, so we're starting to get into this torso area. This is probably the most, I'd say the most complicated section of this whole thing. Just do that. The arm has some stripes on it, so just kind of take care of that right now. And we'll get back into the torso. I'm counting the stripes. So I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. fingers actually get stripes as well. This area here is going to take a little bit of mapping out. Because there's 2 rows of sort of interlocking like I said, it was kind of like a weave pattern or like a webbing pattern. That's what I refer to these as. It's sort of their interlocking type of stuff. You can kind of tell that I'm concentrating on these things. I'm not saying anything. I'm really trying to look at this concept and get them. I'm not like exactly, but I need them to be in the general, correct area. That way I can kind of sculpt the shapes in later. So I'm counting each spot and like gauging where it needs to go. And like in relation to other parts of the body as well, like where it interacts with the spines, where it interacts with certain wrinkles. The thing about this, so this lower one that I was talking about, right? It's like a lot of this stuff is informed by the pattern above it. So like this area is like bordered This doesn't have anything. These don't have anything. Some of these act like kind of like borders for the like super dark area. Something like that. Let me save the progress that I have right now. Okay, so moving on, we're gonna start working on the area over here above the hips. Let's see, so I have 2 spots on either side of this. I think. I think I'm missing a stripe here. There we go. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots above the hip. I'm actually gonna just like lock this whole area in, and then I'll carve the spots out. 1, 2, 4. One there, and then these ones are really small, but they're still up here. I'm gonna, I don't know. My instinct says that these stripes kind of feel strange, like going, like they're crisscrossing this flow of the underlying pattern goes this way, but then these ones start going down this way. So. I'll keep that for now, because that's what the concept has. But I think from a design standpoint, it might feel more consistent if these matched the angle of each other a little bit better. But I won't change that right now. be as close as I can to the concept. So over here by the tail, it starts to break apart again. So these stripes don't actually connect to these little spots that are starting to form. They're starting to break apart, sort of disintegrate. And then, let's see, over here on the tail, the end of the tail, there's just solid stripes. Solid all the way. Okay. We did some stripes here on the shin. And then it kind of turns solid here. It does have still like a stripy sort of edge, but it's mostly dark. I think the tops of the toes are dark too. So that is like, I would say that's the block in, but there's a lot of subtlety going on. This color scheme is actually pretty complex. So there's a lot of very fine like transitions going on in these. So it's going to take me a bit to get all of this like really going. Let me check the base color. I'm going to turn off this. I have a temporary cavity map here. Okay. Yeah, I'm realizing that a lot of the color variation in the concept is coming from... Oh, that's good. That's great. Did I have... There should be a quick way to fix that, but we'll get... I wonder when I turned that off. It's a good thing that it's just in block-in phase. Otherwise, I would be pretty upset. Majority of this is going to be kind of repainted and repositioned, I'd imagine, so it kind of doesn't matter. I wonder why it did that though. I don't remember, because it's not like in ZBrush where like you hit X and the symmetry is enabled or disabled. I don't think so. No, it's not. So I wonder, I must have hit a hotkey, I guess, on accident and turned off. Who knows? That belly color is pretty bright. Hmm. Start to fill in some of these details that wrap around. So the concept is done from the side, right? So you don't really get the information that of like how it wraps around to the other side. So that's where I'm gonna take a little bit of artistic license and kind of fill that in. I'm not just doing like whatever, you know, because I'm trying to make it match with the other, what's going on in the rest of the skin. But there is a little bit to invent there because it's not showing you everything. And I think, so what I'm looking at in the concept is, it's pretty clearly done with like a hard round brush in Photoshop. So there's certain areas that are, you can see like the round brush tip at the end of the stroke. So anywhere I see that, I'm gonna try to make it feel more natural by either tapering it or like breaking it. Turning it into something more organic feeling. That way it doesn't feel like a Photoshop brush. Let's see, how many stripes are above the hip? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm missing one. Okay. So I gotta get that in there. gonna have to look up. There has to be a way to do that, but if not, then I'll just have to kind of trace this side and get it to project on the other side or something. 'Cause I don't want to let go of all of this. Or like restart from the beginning, because I've already done so much of this side. That's kind of annoying now that I think about it more. There's I don't know why, but there's like this stripe of texture. There's like a very clean line going down the back right there that I'm gonna have to break up pretty soon. It won't be exactly the same from one side to another, but at the same time, there should be a little bit of variation between the two sides, so I'm not going to worry about it too much. As I keep going, it should like fill in. We'll take advantage of it and let it give us some free asymmetrical detail. Try to consider it a happy accident. Okay, I'm just taking a last look at this. It's getting close to the end of the stream, so I'm just kind of considering what else I have to do. It's going to be a lot of refining. Majority of it's there. Let's take a look from the perspective view. And in some ways, I think this skin is more complicated than the other one. It's just a little bit more intricate. the black pattern there. But yeah, we'll see how far I get, but we might be picking this up next time. I'm not exactly sure. Like I've been saying, the Wednesday streams are gonna be a little bit kind of varied. It's kind of just gonna be whatever I'm able to get to or not get to, based on what I have time for in the week. But yeah, I'll go ahead and wrap this up today. Thanks everyone for stopping by, hanging out, watching. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.